The process was rigged. The Arrive scam process was rigged in favor of well-connected insider companies. Now, we know this because the Procurement Commissioner's report identified the fact that well-connected insiders at GC Strategies, this small two-person company that this government loved giving deals to over and over and over again. GC Strategies, this small two-person company that was actually founded in the same year that this Prime Minister took office. Fancy that. They founded a company the same year this Prime Minister took office, and they became a favoured go-to supplier for this government. Supplier of what, you ask? Supplier of nothing. This company did no work. They simply received contracts and subcontracted all of the work. So if this government needed to pay someone to do nothing, GC Strategies was their go-to. But the process was rigged. Why? Because GC Strategies sat down with folks inside of the government who were deciding the terms of critical contracts. GC Strategies said, well, the specifications of the contract, the terms of the contract should look like this. And that advice was taken. GC Strategies then bid on the contract, which they had informed the development of, and surprise, they got it. They were able to sit down with those developing the contracting process, fix the process by saying exactly what the specifications of the contract could be, and then, surprise, they got the deal. So I've continually asked this government, why? Why did sketchy companies like GC Strategies develop this favoured stature within this NDP Liberal government? Why did they continue to go to the same shady characters over and over and over again to give them these incredibly generous contracts? On a Arrive scam alone, this glitchy app that didn't work, that sent over 10,000 people into quarantine on an error, right? Real horrifying impacts on the lives of Canadians. This company got, according to the Auditor General, almost $20 million. For what? For nothing. They simply got the work and then subcontracted all of it to other people. Now that's a glorious gig, Mr. Speaker, to get millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars from this NDP Liberal government to do nothing, to have the process rigged in your favour when you've got a two-person company working out of your basement. So I'm trying to understand. There's this systematic rot in the procurement process. This Arrive scam issue, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We keep hearing new reports about broken contracting across various departments that clearly didn't follow the rules. But I want to ask the Parliamentary Secretary, why did this government rig the process in favour of the shady characters at GC Strategies? Why did they do it?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Prime Minister, Special Advisor for Water.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I'm sure all gathered in the House this evening wish the honourable member a very happy 17th anniversary and all the best to his growing family. Mr. Speaker, taxpayers' money needs to be treated with the utmost respect. Departments and agencies must follow contracting rules and handle all procurement processes in a fair, open and transparent manner and in accordance with all policies, regulations and guidelines and trade agreements. The gaps in management processes, roles and controls that the Auditor General of Canada and the Procurement Ombudsman have identified in their reports are unacceptable. We welcome the recommendations made in these reports. I want to remind the honourable member the CBSA has already taken steps to strengthen its procurement activities and ensure proper oversight over these activities. The agency has established an Executive Procurement Review Committee tasked with approving contracts and task authorizations. This is already providing additional oversight on all contracting activities focusing on delivering value for money. Employees will be required to disclose interactions with potential vendors. Furthermore, Public Services and Procurement Canada will continue to strengthen all aspects of the federal procurement system, Mr. Speaker, and will use the findings of the Auditor General's report to improve the way Government of Canada does business with its suppliers. The honourable member will certainly remember the unprecedented context in which the ArriveCan application was created. After the pandemic was declared in March 2020, the app was developed and launched as quickly as possible by the CBSA at the request of the Public Health Agency of Canada. The data provided by ArriveCan was essential for the Government of Canada to monitor, detect, and identify new COVID-19 variants of concern and to respond as these variants evolved. The CBSA was working as quickly as possible to replace a paper process that was not meeting public health needs. At the time, there were significant wait times at the border that disrupted the essential flow of people and goods. I wish to point out to the honourable member that the Auditor General recognized in her report that the government improved the speed and quality of information collected at the border by using the ArriveCan app rather than the paper form. We should not forget that this app helped ensure the continued flow of essential goods, including food and medical supplies, for all Canadians. The CBSA played a key role in facilitating the arrival of COVID-19 vaccines in this country as well. The public health measures that were taken have supported Canadian businesses dependent on secure and timely cross-border shipments. They kept food and goods on store shelves and ensured our frontline workers were equipped with essential supplies such as personal protective equipment. I would like to emphasize the efforts of frontline border officers and all CBSA personnel who diligently served and protected Canadian citizens during the pandemic and continue to do so every day in Canada and around the world. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Sherwood Park for Saskatchewan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The fact is my honourable friend has read his pre-prepared statement about government procurement policy, but he has not answered the basic question. The question is, why did the government rig the process in favour of this shady two-person company working out of somebody's basement? How did this company, which was just founded in the same year this Prime Minister took office, manage to get so much money from the government? If tomorrow I and one other person started a company in our basement, I suspect we wouldn't be turning over tens of millions of dollars in government contracts for doing no work within a short space of time. I think it's pretty clear that there's some reason why this government constantly was funneling money to and through GC Strategies. And the process was, in fact, as we know, rigged in their favor. So why did the government continuously funnel money to and through GC Strategies? Why did they do it?
Well, Parliamentary Secretary.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I will reiterate that transparency and accountability is a priority for this government. We expect procurement processes to be properly followed and that anyone accused of wrongdoing face appropriate consequences. This has been and will always be the case. The gaps found by the Auditor General and the Procurement Ombudsperson in their reports, I've said already, Mr. Speaker, those findings are unacceptable and we welcome the recommendations. The government is taking steps to ensure all government departments are better positioned to undertake projects of this nature in the future. Some of the recognitions outlined in the report have already been addressed. The President of the CBSA has implemented measures to strengthen and improve procurement processes and internal controls. The government has full confidence that any investigation into wrongdoing allegations will be pursued with integrity and efficiency. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.